You are looking at a fence post that went into the ground in 1887. I know that because the deed says so. I pressed my thumbnail into the wood when I found it. It did not give, not even slightly. No rot, no gray. The grain is tight and dark, and it has been standing through every summer since Grover Cleveland was president. 137 years in Lancaster County soil, and the wood is harder than the day it was set. I spent 30 years replacing fence posts every decade. I watched decks go gray by year 3. I paid for refinishing jobs on surfaces that could have lasted a lifetime, and I never once asked why the posts the Amish put in the ground a century ago were still standing while mine were rotting out at the base. I thought that was just how wood worked. It is not how wood works. There is a formula. 3 ingredients. At current raw material prices, a typical fence post application costs between 50 cents and $2 in materials. The wood treatment industry did not ban it. They did something quieter. They replaced one ingredient on the shelf, kept the same label on the bottle, and within 1 generation, the difference became invisible. And what I am about to show you works on wood that is already graying, already cracking, already installed in your yard right now. Here is where the story starts, and once you understand what was replaced and why, the rest of this is going to make you angry. The oldest pine tar production facility on Earth is in Sweden, radiocarbon dated to between 540 BCE and 380 BCE. Scandinavian craftsmen were already processing pine resin into a wood preservative 2,500 years ago. So effective that Viking shipbuilders used it to seal longships for crossings through the North Sea. Salt spray, freezing temperatures, months of constant moisture loading, the wood held. Pliny the Elder documented pine tar production methods in his Natural History in the 1st century AD. By the late 1600s, pine tar had become Sweden's 3rd largest export commodity. The British Royal Navy depended on it entirely. Colonial pine forests along the eastern seaboard were producing it at industrial scale. That is where the nickname Tar Heels actually comes from. Not a mascot first, a real industrial legacy. The South Carolina Forestry Commission documented that this industry thrived from the colonial period all the way through the 1940s. And then it stopped. Not because something better arrived, because something cheaper arrived and was given the same name. Real turpentine is distilled from living pine resin. When a pine tree is wounded, it floods the damaged area with resin engineered by millions of years of biological pressure to do 3 things at once: repel insects, stop fungal growth, and permanently seal the damaged wood against moisture. When you distill it, you get real turpentine. That is what the traditional formula requires. What the big box stores sell today, labeled turpentine, is a petroleum derivative, a synthetic industrial solvent that shares a name with the original and almost nothing else chemically. The substitution happened after World War II, during the petrochemical boom. Synthetic solvents became dramatically cheaper than harvesting pine resin. The industry replaced the natural product with a synthetic one, kept the label identical, improved their margins, and nobody disclosed to homeowners what had changed. The formula was not buried. The ingredient was swapped on the shelf. Within 1 generation, the knowledge of what you were actually supposed to be buying was gone. His name was Elam. A Lancaster County farmer, strong build, a man of very few words. When I found that fence post with the deed date, I asked him what his grandfather had used on the wood. He did not answer right away. He walked to a shelf inside the barn, brought down a wide mouth jar and held it up to the light coming through the door. Dark, thick, amber brown, the color of old honey. He said 3 words: oil, tar, wax. Then he set the jar back on the shelf and walked out. I stood there a few minutes before I followed him, because those 3 words are the whole formula. Here is what those 3 words actually mean. Boiled linseed oil is pressed from flax seed and treated with metallic drying agents to accelerate curing. It contains a high concentration of a polyunsaturated fatty acid that reacts with oxygen inside the wood fibers through a process called autooxidation. Those fatty acid chains cross-link and form a flexible polymer network that fills every microscopic pore from the inside out. Penn State Extension confirmed that boiled linseed oil penetrates up to 4 times deeper into wood fiber than polyurethane. These are not my numbers. I have read their documentation directly. 4 times deeper. And unlike polyurethane, the protection forms inside the grain, not on top of it. There is no surface film to crack, no coating to peel. A scratch does not compromise it, because there is nothing on the surface to scratch. Pine tar is the second ingredient. It carries every compound the tree accumulated over decades of self-defense: antifungal acids, insect-repelling terpenes, and resin compounds that bond permanently to wood fiber. When you work it into a post or a deck board, you are putting the tree's own immune system back inside the wood it came from. Real turpentine, distilled from pine resin rather than refined from petroleum, drives both the oil and the tar deeper into dense grain than either would penetrate alone. This is not theory. This is documented across 2,500 years of continuous use on multiple continents. The formula cannot be patented. You cannot patent linseed oil. You cannot patent turpentine. You cannot patent pine tar. These are natural materials that predate the patent system by centuries. What cannot be patented cannot generate licensing revenue. What cannot generate licensing revenue cannot be advertised. And what is not advertised disappears from public knowledge 1 generation at a time. And here is the detail that keeps me up at night. The commercial oil-based wood restoration products at every hardware store, Thompson's Water Seal, Cabot, Ready Seal, Olympic, the active ingredient in the majority of them is the same drying oil mechanism that existed before the Roman Empire. They are selling you linseed oil chemistry in a branded bottle at between 10 and 50 times the raw material cost. The markup is not on the chemistry. The markup is on the label. In 2003, the EPA forced the residential lumber treatment industry to stop using chromated copper arsenate on lumber sold for home use. Arsenic. On children's playground equipment and backyard decks, and it required a federal regulatory order to end it. The builders who used the linseed oil and pine tar system never needed the EPA to intervene. Their formula was already safe, already effective, already proven. I went back to Lancaster County with a quart of boiled linseed oil that cost $8 and a pint of real turpentine ordered from a specialty supplier that cost $14, imported from Portugal, where longleaf pine forests are still managed for resin harvest. $22 total. I mixed equal parts in a wide-mouth glass jar, shook it for 30 seconds until it clouded into a golden emulsion, and applied it with a cotton rag along the grain of a cedar fence that had been weathering for 12 years. No power washing, no sanding, no chemical stripping. What happened on the first board stopped me cold. The gray, oxidized layer visibly changed within 30 seconds of contact. The oil flooded into the exposed grain so fast I could watch it disappear into the wood. I covered the entire fence in 2 hours. Within 48 hours, the wood had settled to a color and texture I had not seen on that fence since the day I moved in. Here is the honesty. In high humidity climates, you will reapply every 8 to 10 years rather than longer intervals in drier conditions. 8 to 10 years from a material that costs between 50 cents and $2 per application is a fundamentally different calculation than 2 to 3 years from a branded product at 40 times the raw material costs. 1 week later, I found something in a digitized archive of Mennonite farm management logs from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Pencil entries in the margins of maintenance records from the 1800s. I was searching for application ratios. What I found instead was a phrase repeated across multiple entries, in multiple years, in multiple different hands, after oil cure, wax coat. Beeswax, applied over fully cured linseed oil, was melted with a small amount of warm linseed oil and worked into the surface while still liquid. 1 pound of beeswax costs $8 and treats an entire fence. Beeswax contains naturally occurring compounds that resist ultraviolet degradation. The linseed oil protects the interior of the wood against moisture and biological decay. The wax protects the oil itself against solar degradation at the surface. One works from the inside out. The other works from the outside in. Applied in sequence, they address every mechanism through which wood fails. Total materials for a 200 linear foot fence were between $15 and $25. The contractor estimate I had received for that same job was $1,100. I did it on a Saturday afternoon. One safety note that is not optional. Rags soaked with linseed oil can spontaneously combust if left bunched in a pile. The curing process generates heat, and a crumpled rag holds that heat until it reaches ignition temperature on its own. Spread application rags flat outdoors to dry completely, or submerge them in water in a sealed metal container before disposal. Every can of boiled linseed oil says this on the label. Read it and follow it. I spent 30 years replacing wood that did not need to be replaced. 30 years at an average of $300 a year in treatments, refinishing, and contractor visits for surfaces that could have lasted a lifetime on $25 of materials. That adds up to $9,000. Not because the formula did not exist, but because the ingredient on the shelf had been quietly renamed, and I never knew to look for the difference. In the 1940s, a petrochemical industry needing a market replaced a 2,500-year-old natural product and kept the label identical. In 2003, a federal agency had to order an industry to stop putting arsenic on children's playground equipment. In 2024, the first page of search results for wood preservation is dominated by sponsored products selling you linseed oil chemistry at 40 times the raw material cost. The wood in that fence post does not know any of that. It only knows what the pine tree taught it. And it will keep holding long after every synthetic product on that hardware store shelf has been quietly discontinued and replaced with the next thing you did not need. The Amish did not discover this. They simply never stopped using it. Now you have it too. Find the oldest piece of wood on your property right now and leave me the year it was installed in the comments. Just the year. I want to know how long the industry has been telling you that wood is supposed to fail. If you believe real knowledge gets quietly pushed aside to protect someone else's margins, you already know what to do. Subscribe. There is more where this came from.